Hi everyone. So today I want to take a bit of a deeper look at the Wavetable editor within Faceplant. I have the Wavetable editor open here on the right side, and this is actually a configuration that I like to use. I like to have Faceplant open and the Wavetable editor next to it, because that allows us to make changes in the editor and then immediately preview them here. Because whatever we do in the Wavetable editor, it will sort of get pre-rendered here, so we can preview whatever we do before we can actually commit to it. This is one thing that Serum does quite differently, and I like this within Faceplant. So what I have right here is I'm working with an imported audio file, and there is sort of a pitch shift in there. When I scan through the wavetable, you can basically hear this pitch bend in there. So I want to show you today how to do that. So we're going to go with a new sound. We're going to open a wavetable, and let's open the wavetable window, and I'll put it here. So let's import an audio file. I mean, we could choose anything we want to. I like to choose bass sounds, vocal sounds, snare drums sometimes. Let's just go with a bass sound for now. So when we import this, it tries to guess the pitch of the file. I usually just leave that as is. I don't really care. I can check later with the tuner whether we are in the correct tuning. And then what you see at the top here is the input sample, which you see there. And then below here is the actual wavetable. So right now it's going to take the whole sample and it's going to use the full wavetable to basically play back that sample. So if I were to do a done right now, we basically get a sample in here that ends with a bunch of silence there at the end. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to import this only to part of the wavetable. And we can do that by, this window is a little bit too small. We can do that by dragging this line right here. So what's gonna happen in this case is you can see that in the top here, this is the input. So we take the full sample right here, but we import it only to this part of the wavetable. And that means that we have all this area here left for other stuff. Of course, we don't necessarily want this silence there at the end, so we could also start changing the part of the sample that we want. So we can say, all right, I don't need this beginning, I don't need this, I only want this part of the sample, and I want it to be imported to this part of the wavetable. You can make this bigger or shorter. That's one thing you can do, but then you can start making new frames in here as well, which map to a specific part of the sample. So you can say, all right, I want this part to be longer, I want this to be there, I want another one here. Maybe we'll drag this out a little bit. So you can see that you can take an individual point within the sample and then map that to this point in the wavetable. Now, the interesting thing here is that you see some pitch bend parameter at the bottom here. And you can see here that we can change the source, like where we want to get this specific frame from within the file. So that's the same as just dragging it around here. But this pitch bend here is interesting because we can actually speed up the wave for a certain frame, increasing the frequency and therefore, of course, the pitch. So what we can do here is let's set this here to, I don't know, 3 semitones. This one is set to 0, that's fine. This one I can set to, let's say, 7. And then here I can go maybe even down. Let's go down an octave, why not? And I'm generally fairly sloppy with this. And here we can go up again. Let's go up an octave as well. This might be too extreme, but the really nice thing that Faceplant has is that we can actually, before we click done here, we can actually preview this. So the only thing we have to do is change the frame here and listen to what it sounds like. So we hear some clicks in there and it's rather soft, but I would say this is pretty much what I was looking for. So if we are happy with this, we can now hit import like this, and we can see that it has created our wavetable. Now we want to max out all of these tables, so you can see that this right now is really focused around the center area here. The first thing we might want to do is run a remove DC on the whole table, which is gonna fix any DC offset. The DC offset is when the wave is either too much in negative phase or too much in positive phase. And we want it to be centered, of course, distribute to the energy of the wave equally. And then we would also normalize the RMS, the root mean square, and the global peaks. And now we should have a much louder wavetable. Let's listen to that. And that's a cool part in there. Okay, so that sounds pretty nice. Now, what we might want to do now is we basically have some wavetable left here. So what we can do is we can click on a specific part there. You can see here these pitch wobbles, and now we can choose any of the editing tools. I like to use this one, for example. I like to use the pencil as well. At this point, you have to be a little bit careful, because what I just did is I selected the tool here, and maybe I selected the wrong one. I don't want a sine wave here. If I now click on another part, or I even click on another tool, it's already going to commit to this sine wave. So it's going to put it in the wavetable there. So when you are in this situation where you don't actually want to use this tool, you have to click cancel first and then choose something else. Otherwise it's going to commit to it. This messed me up a little bit sometimes. But now we know, right? So make some new waves here. I try to not make them too squarey usually. I don't know. This is that's not my best work yet. Here we can go with a saw, and we click here a new frame. We can use maybe this tool. Take this triangle wave there, do something like this, and then for the very end here, I only wanted a single frame there. Let's choose a free form again. I don't know, something like this. All right, so now we have all these specific tables in here. What we now can do is we can go to morph, and we have to be careful not to morph it like this, because right now you can see that it has selected the first and the last frame here. If I click on morph right now, it's gonna basically erase everything in the middle, and it's gonna try to make a morph from that one to that one, disregarding everything else. But since we have these keyframes here, we can click on them, and we should select all of them, because all of them want to be part of the morph, or I want all of them to be part of the morph. So that would be our wavetable, and then we click done. You know, we can run our fixes again. We do our DC again, because I made some custom waves. Now let's listen to what that sounds like. And I specifically like that little part in there where we made those pitch shifts. In fact, I want to import that sample again, create from sample. Actually, let's listen to this sample. Okay, that's very low. Okay, I guess they're all subs. I will stick with the same one then. And this time I'm only gonna take that part, and I will only use it on this beginning, because this is the part I didn't really like. And I will choose some new frames in here. And we're gonna see if we can make our pitch bend a little bit more extreme. And there it can go to 7. There it can go down. And there it can be normal. And there we go up a third maybe. All right, so let's choose that. And then this time I want to have a morph of only these. So I'm going to go to morph, and I select only these here. The first, what is it, 6, 7 frames, and then I click done. Okay, let's listen to that. I like that, because now we have a more clear pitch thing in there. You can still hear these clicks. Now, another way to deal with those is if you go to effects, you have frame blend, and the default there is 16 frames. And what this means is that it's gonna look 16 frames ahead, and it's gonna try to reduce clicks by already making your current frame look more similar to what's basically in the future. Now, 16 is generally a little bit much. I usually reduce this to around, I mean, sometimes even only 2 frames. It depends quite a lot on what you have in your table, but let's go with something like 3.5 right now. So then it's gonna create smoother transitions between the waves, and after that again we're gonna normalize everything. now we have that. Now let's go with an LFO and let's focus just on that beginning part there. So we're gonna set this up to the frames here. Set it a bit slower. We can see if we can give that some more amount. All right, let's say we like that, then we want to add some wavetable effects to it, distortions, etc. We can add a non-linear filter, so sort of an analog modeled filter that will also, this we can use for distortion as well, especially in this sort of all pass mode where it's going to pass all the frequencies, but we still get that saturation effect. We can really crank the drive on this and the Q as well. We could use this same LFO on there. We can drop the whole thing an octave. And then we can set it to glide, having one voice, legato. We could also, of course, add another wave to this. So you could, one thing you could do is take a new analog here. You can drag it like in there and then just remove your envelope, or you can click in between these lines. You have to be somewhere here and then do the same. Let's add some unison to this. The spread I want to be down. And then one of the really nice things with this is that this wavetable that we just created, let's actually go into the editor once more and let's just save this one. And we will call this sub-bass import something, and then save it. And what we can then do is if we take, for example, a filter table here, and we go to the presets there, we can see under my user folder, I should have that very same wave. What did we call it? That's, talk about bad memory. Sub-bass something? Sub-bass import. And now we can use this same wave as an actual filter. We can scan through the table here as well. We can use a different LFO for that. Let's go there. And you could, in fact, also take, at the bottom here, you can, instead of a regular LFO, you can take an LFO table. And guess what? You can then choose the same wave there once again. So if I go to user here, I have my sub-bass table. And now we could use the table that we just created as a modulation source on a filter version of that same table. And then we could add some saturator distortion here, maybe in front of that. That's a pretty nice sounding wave there. And the main thing to take away from this is that pitch bend stuff. So we have a bunch of other effects here that work in the same manner. So if you go to effects here and let's say you do self FM, I really like, you can use that same technique where you say, okay, here it's gonna have an FM amount of 25. Here it could be a little bit less. Here it could be a little bit more again. Here maybe I want a mix to be less. Some more FM, etc. And then you could morph all of these together like so, and then do done. And now you are basically, this is how you apply modulation within a wavetable itself. So if I remove the assignment there and I switch off these effects for a little bit, we can listen to what that sounds like. And this one we want to mute as well. So now we applied FM there on the high end. We could also do this with distortion, for example. You take the first frame, you can say, all right, I want the mix here to be very low. You can right click this as well and say, I want it to be 0. Then here you can say, I want it to be 10%. And then let's go suddenly very extreme here, 60%. And then you go down again. So if you do this and you start morphing between those points, then you're going to get a distortion modulation being applied to your wave itself. And then after that, generally, you want to normalize all of that. You could also align your fundamentals, which will give you a more stable low end. Let's hear that in combination with our effects here. And this is a very quick way towards your neural basis and your very heavy kind of, I don't know, dubstep, or I guess a little bit more texture than the typical dubstep sounds, but really these moving kind of evolving basses. And the filter table is very excellent for that because it basically will apply the shape, but now use it as a frequency curve. So that's some stuff, hopefully, for you to look into, some stuff that you like. And if you do, feel free to like the video and put a comment. In any case, I will see you in a next video, and thank you for watching.